We want to connect now with James Cook, the BBC's North America correspondent. He is in Richmond, Texas, and soaked as everyone is today. James, tell us what you've seen today and how intense the rain is at the moment.
Well, the rain is strong. It's coming down pretty intensely. It's not quite as intense as it has been over the past few days here in Houston, but it's still raining very, very heavily, and it's been doing this solidly for hours now. We've been in this spot for about 5 hours, and as you can see behind us, there are a number of people still making their way up, being brought out of the houses which are flooding a couple of miles down in that direction. For 5 hours, they've been coming out almost continually. It really is a very serious situation here. People, some of them have been coming out, were almost collapsing onto the ground. Little children were being brought out, their teeth chattering. It's very serious, and these weather conditions are making it much worse.
Yeah, we can see it coming down, James. I'm curious about the mandatory evacuation orders. Were those issued for residents? And do you think that nearby rivers show any sign of cresting soon?
Well, I think there's a bayou just along there, which is where a lot of the water is coming from. And it's definitely right over the edge, and it's getting into the houses. And I think what the people here are saying, a lot of people here are saying, is that they tried desperately all night last night to call 911, to get in touch with the emergency services, to try to get help to get out as they saw these waters rising. They said that nobody came to help them, and in the end it's been Texan helping Texan here. People today have pulled together. Lots of local people with boats have arrived, people from further afield. Strangers have become friends as they've gone in here with the boats, and indeed with anything that could get people out. There've been inflatable mattresses and all kinds of other makeshift rubber rings, people pulling out their possessions and their children, very few possessions that they can cling to. And they were saying, some people, that this area should have been evacuated, but it wasn't.
And the governor today defended that decision, saying we're not going to look back, we're going to look forward. The National Weather Service has said this is catastrophic, it has never been seen before, and the outcomes here in the days ahead are unpredictable. Considering that the floodwaters are not expected to really recede, I guess, until Wednesday, until midweek, what plans are people making there for what to do next as far as the essentials, food, shelter and clean water?
I mean, it's such a good question, and really the answer is that I think a lot of people coming out of here simply don't know where they're going to go. I have to say they've looked bedraggled and they've looked bewildered, a lot of the people who are coming out. I think they've given very little thought to where they go next. There's a number of shops, of stores around here, and they're all closed, or at least all the ones I can see around me are closed. It is unclear where people will go for food and for aid, or indeed even for shelter at this stage.
James, I can see the rain just coming down heavily. I see the people in those boats behind you trying to get through. You had tweeted earlier, about 7 hours ago, saying some good news. The floodwaters in downtown Houston have receded somewhat overnight. It's still raining, but not as intensely as yesterday. Do you believe that to still be the case?
Absolutely not. I'm afraid that didn't last very long, that tweet. After maybe an hour or so, the rain started again. The waters have started to rise. Clearly not been in central Houston since then, which was several hours ago now. But what people there were saying, that as the water begins to feed into the city from the rain that has already fallen, and on top of that there's a concern as well about these dams that have been these controlled emergency releases of water from dams, and essentially they're sacrificing some homes, and so people along the route of where that water runs down and into Houston are very concerned that the water could rise further and that many more homes could yet be flooded.
All right, James Cook there, our BBC North America correspondent, in the thick of it all as someone runs in the distance without their shirt, because what's the point, I guess, some people think at this point. We'll continue to connect with you in the hours ahead. Joining us there from Richmond, Texas. Thank you.